Hey, welcome. It's Stasia Bliss. It has been a minute. I haven't done a video in quite a while, just sinking into some other aspects of life and reality. So thank you for tuning in today. It's a beautiful day in Utah where I'm staying right now, and I can feel this new moon coming in, which is also called a black moon. Apparently, when there are more than 3 new moons in any seasonal quarter of the year, so spring equinox to summer solstice or any other quarter of the year, the 3rd moon is called a black moon. So that is what's coming in on this Friday, the 19th of May, 2023. I'm sitting with you on Wednesday if you're watching me today, and already feeling the window of this energy opening. Kind of felt this energy for a few days, but it's starting to adjust and refine. And I was watching a video last night, Sabrina Rewilding or something like that. She has a YouTube channel, really good information there. I highly recommend her channel. But I was watching her video on Lilith, which whenever I hear black moon, I can't help but think of black moon Lilith energy and how somehow that's associated. Remember, Lilith energy is not a physical planetary body, but a void space in the universe, kind of like the dark side of the moon, kind of an energy. So whenever that energy arises, especially now, I feel a couple of days before this new moon where we're in a dark moon already, and it just happens to be a black moon that we're moving in, that we are inviting a deeper look or a peek into those hidden places in ourselves, in our lives, in our consciousness, in the collective. And we're wanting to kind of take a peek, or Lilith energy is asking us to go deep with that. So I just wanted to pull some cards and some runes. I've been in a beautiful space with some children, doing some homeschool out here and getting to do little shamani yoga warrior schools. So I've been teaching some of these ideas, sharing with the kids. The kids are really tuned into nature, and it's good to connect with them on the symbolic level. So I had my runes out earlier today, so I'm feeling them talking. Just want to tune into this new moon. I'm going to grab a couple of runes out. Well, 3 are coming out, so let's see. Okay. Let's see what this energy says. We've got Uruz in the reverse, Iwaz in the reverse, and Kenaz. So if you're familiar with runes. So Uruz represents working. It's kind of like the horns of a bull, okay? But in the upright position, those horns are down and the work is being done to plow the field. So in a reverse, it's kind of like work you don't really want to do but has to get done sort of energy. And I'm sorry, I said Iwaz. Aniz, or Algiz, I think is how you say, the one that is the 3 prongs to heaven, normally like a trident. Also represents the elk horns that connect with the divine or with the universe or the higher mind. So again, in the reverse, either there's been a disconnect, or this can also indicate connecting deeply, like going to the underworld kind of energy, connecting to the deepness within the self. And Kenaz at the end there indicates, see how it's the less than greater than sign? Well, when it's in this position, that's the upright, and that means information going from not really being seen to being seen. So the light is turning on. There's an illumination happening. If you do the work they don't really want to do, if you address the deeper stuff, some light turns on. So there's an enlightenment with Kenaz rune. So there's some kind of illumination that this dark moon, this black moon, this new moon energy is bringing in. So I'm going to just pull a few tarot cards to enlighten us a little bit more about maybe what we're looking at. What could this energy be inviting us to look at? This is a Celtic Wisdom Tarot, so I actually have not used this deck yet. So let's see wants to come out here for the collective about this up and coming new moon. Of course, this new moon, if you're looking at Western astrology, is in Taurus. Ooh, Taurus, Jupiter's in Taurus also. So the moon's crossing over. We've got 3 of Cups. And I love this. There's actually a maypole in this picture and ladies dancing around the maypole with fairies. And if you were with us on May Day, we were trying to do this in the yard here with the children and everything. So there is a significance of Beltane energy, which was the May Day maypole. This is also a very fertile energy, fertile time of the year. New commitments. It is like a sexuality and love, commitment kind of energy. So there could be issues around that. But 3 of Cups is also celebratory. So something to be celebrated. Oh, and there's 2 more coming out. Oh, the next one is the Star card. Star card speaks of our, what's fated for us, our destiny. Look how she is just unclothed, open to the stars, blowing stardust. It's just a very real, authentic, raw, vulnerable, in the moment, having reached a beautiful place. And then the next card is 2 of Cups, which is, in this picture, the king is being crowned by the queen or by the woman, by the priestess. There's a coronation. 2 of Cups is always speaking of some kind of relational love or connection between 2 hearts. There's 2 chalices there, so the masculine, feminine energy being represented. So beautiful. So this time of doing the work in our relationships, doing the work to make the connection, to also celebrate those deep dives, celebrate those hard to reach places that we've been having to contact. I'm going to just pull one more. I feel like maybe there's one more in here. Something else that may be being highlighted, and this one's poking out in 2 of them. So 5 of Cups and Page of Cups. So 5 of Cups does indicate having left something behind that was adored, or some kind of nostalgic. See how he's walking away, but he's looking at the light. He's left some things, but there's still a beautiful path in front. And the second one is Page of Cups. So Page of Cups is a new cycle. If he kept walking, it's almost like he gets to this river where there's all this water and all these chalices, where he's leaving behind these chalices on these stairs, this stepping stone, those things that were fulfilling to the emotions before. But look, he comes to where there's running water and it's coming everywhere. There's just an abundance of emotional fulfillment if you keep going. So that feels kind of to be the promise of this moon. If you just keep going, forgive yourself for places where maybe you felt disconnected, or things you wish you were still doing that you're not, places you're still not, or you're not anymore. He's cloaked in the green cloak. And I'm pulling from the healing deck, the voice of the heart. This is the healing with this new moon, Taurus. I silence the fear in me and discover the voice of my heart. The fruit of these words guides me. I trust the song of my soul. My intuition leads me on the path of light. Okay, and with that, it says there's one more, because we're dealing with the pairs, or the light and the hidden aspect, or the masculine and feminine. And again, it's popping out of the back of the deck. So, and it's acceptance. It says, I accept every step that life presents me without resistance. I try to find out what the universe is trying to teach me so I can grow. Thus, I advance in freedom on the path of light, which is very much what this card looks like. Advancing in freedom on the path of light. So the light looks like it's back there behind him, but is illuminating his way. And when he gets to the waters, right? Five of Cups to Page of Cups is about 5 more steps, right? So he's gone all this way. There's about 5 more steps till we're on a brand new, fulfilling path. So to accept the things, to listen to the voice of the heart, to recognize where destiny's calling is when you're being super authentic. And you're celebrating the moments along the way. Like, don't forget, there's need for celebration. And again, there's the coronation. There's some sort of up-leveling or initiation or blessing or marriage or going to the next level. This is kind of like a graduation sort of a vibe. So I'm going to pull from this fun new deck. It's called Moon Spells. Ooh, that word spells can be so scary sometimes. You know, I work with mantra. If you haven't worked with mantra, I am in the middle of doing a 6-month Make Mantra Your Medicine course, which you can find through my website, blissinthehouse.com, and we're in the 3rd month, but you can also take the classes one at a time, or you can jump in this Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific if you want. We're starting getting into physical ailments and the mantras to support. But mantras are spells. So 2 of them are coming up. So we're going to look at both of these that might be one or the other or both might be applicable for you for this moon. One of them is a travel talisman. So maybe there's some travel indicated because we have Jupiter energy that's crossing over the moon, and Jupiter is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. So we are going to have maybe finances come in for travel with Taurus and Jupiter running together. So Taurus would be like the financial capacity or the ground, the realness that Jupiter needs to go do what it needs to do. So travel talisman. Before you travel for work or study or pleasure, it's good to create charms and talismans of power. You can also craft your own ritual tools from what you gather in your travels. Nature will often provide you with tools, shells, bark, and stones. Pay attention and you will learn much and receive many gifts. So maybe during this new moon, if something comes to you, perhaps you can look at that as a talisman that you carry around with you. And the other one, for some people, this is going to be applicable, not for everyone. It's the breakup ritual. I've actually heard over the last week of a lot of people moving through a breakup or a separation, as this energy is demanding authenticity in union. I mean, look, like this lady's not going to crown this guy if he's not the king, right? So she's moving in with the crown. So this says to rid yourself of negative emotions after a fight or at the end of a relationship, try this purification bath. Draw a warm bath at noon when the sun is high and add the following essential oils into the water. 2 drops rosemary to calm, 1 drop peppermint to stimulate, 1 drop lavender for energy cleansing, 3 drops thyme to relieve mental exhaustion. Now be careful with thyme in the bath. I might suggest you do lavender flower. Lavender oil is fine in the bath, but thyme can be irritating to the skin, and so might peppermint and rosemary. So maybe you also just diffuse these in the room, or you make a bundle of herbs together. And this is the little spell or the chant to use. Sadness, I release you, goodbye. Fatigue, I release you, goodbye. I greet this day anew, right? New moon vibes. I greet my life renewed. Blessed be. So something like that, or you can design your own. You also might not be breaking up in a relationship. You might be just breaking up with an old part of yourself. You might be breaking up with a pattern. You might be breaking up with some habit or an addiction or a thought pattern. Yeah, so you can use this in the same way. So you can even say, you know, if it's not sadness, maybe you're like, I'm not going to, I don't know, drink alcohol anymore or whatever it is. Alcohol, I release you, goodbye. Or maybe you're going to stop getting angry all the time at someone. So like anger, I release you. I greet this day anew. I greet my life anew. Blessed be. So whatever you're breaking up with, maybe it's a past version of you, version of me before this day, I release you. And in that release is also an integration, right? Because Page of Cups is talking about something new coming in, something new, and you're accepting all the old ways. So when we release it, we're not shunning it. We're accepting that it was part of the path. And this is the hard work that the reverse Uru's rune is talking about. Sometimes we just got to do the hard work. We got to dive deep, and we got to find the joy in it and remember our destiny, remember our fate that's calling us. So through this, may we be illuminated as the light returns to the lunar body. It goes from the new moon toward the full moon. I feel like that's when Kanaz really begins to show the light. So over the next 2 weeks following this Friday, kind of look for how your life is being illuminated with wisdom. See how the new path is opening up before you. Listen to the voice of your heart, what's calling you. And it feels like a really beautiful energy. I just want to ask specifically if there's anything around this black moon Lilith energy, the deeper like Plutonian, since there is a conjunction with Pluto here. Is there something specific that collective wants to look out for in this particular black moon transit? There's one. Is there any more? Yeah, it feels like just that one. Ooh. It's the Death card. So death doesn't always mean a physical death, of course. It's the transformation card. It could mean a death around you with this energy, but it's also pointing to transformation. Kind of gruesome in this picture. We've got a giant crow and a female energy, and then the heads of 3 men on stakes. It's pretty intense. This Celtic deck is a bit intense. So I like to look at the masculine when depicted in cards, or males as the masculine. So maybe there's thought patterns or logic that you've been taking that you want to cut the head off on, and like there's some more wildish nature that wants to be brought up. Again, that's the Lilith energy that sometimes we push down, that wants to be expressed, and at first it can be a little uncomfortable or unsightly, but when we move through that to the other side, we definitely learn a greater wisdom. And this is big messages, big crow here. There's some big messages coming in from the divine. So really listening to those. This algiz that's in the reverse, it's still messages. This is like connecting in to the universe. So there's still big messages coming in. They're gonna hit you deeper during this time. Maybe you feel them in a deep feeling or a deep cry, or when you're somewhere that's a little bit out of your comfort zone or darker, in those quiet places. So I encourage you to go into this moon. Hopefully this information has been supportive, going into this moon with a little bit more preparedness. And I'm one more of the loves of the spells. This is a house spell, came falling out, so I'm just going to share it. Because the moon is Friday, the new moon. So this is called the Saturday Sanctuary spell. So however Friday lands for you, it's recommended that Saturday you anoint the home. So this is interesting, I'll read it. To anoint your home as a sacred space and protect from harm, rub any of the following essential oils undiluted on your front door at top and bottom: cinnamon, clove, cypress, dragon's blood, or frankincense. Walk through the door and close it securely. Take the remaining essential oil and anoint every other door and window. At the witching hour of midnight, light anointed white candles and place them in every doorway and window sill. This is to secure the home with the power of magic. So you can alter that. It doesn't have to look exactly like that, but it's basically, and you can of course do this on Friday as well. I don't know why they call it Saturday Sanctuary. Saturday is ruled by Saturn, so there's some Saturnian, but Venus with this moon could be good. Venus is the ruler of Friday. Since we have a Taurus moon, and Venus is Taurus's planet, perhaps you make it a Friday sanctuary spell and bless and anoint the home anew with this new energy. And you might make your own oils. You don't have to follow this exactly, but it gives you an idea what's something symbolic you can do to bless and sanctify your space, and then to light that up. You know, candles in the window and doorway is one way, but maybe you don't have the 30 candles you need for your 30 entryways, or the 5 or the 2 or whatever. What else can you do? So use your imagination, maybe use some of this instruction to support you in like renewing your space. Taurus definitely is about home energy and abundance, luxury, pleasure, the body, beauty. It's Aphrodite's sign there with Venus. So how can you make your home feel like a sensual, you know, delightful, abundant retreat for you? Somewhere that it feels like a sanctuary where, and even if you're doing hard work in your relationships, you still have this space that's supporting you. And then the illumination factor with the Kenaz rune, I think lighting a candle, of course, is always a great idea. But just look for ways that your intentions are lighting up new directions, new opportunities, because remember that Page of Cups, pages are always something new. So look where that can also be a message of love. So there's messages coming in from the universe, from your own heart, from the deep wells of you. I hope this supports you on this journey this week. This is Stasia Bliss. If you would like to have a personal reading or a session of any kind, offering coaching through blissinthehouse.com. And I hope you have a beautiful week. Blessings.